Communications Problem Assignment by Julia Sheridan Gleason for Robert Morris University, ORG 6300, January 23, 2022. What is my communications problem? The account transition process we have at my workplace is just not enough to help prepare the new incoming account executives to fulfill that role. Why is this important, you ask? Well, account management is kind of like being married. When you take on a group, it's part of your life. Those customers are important to you. And when you go to transition, you want to make sure that that relationship carries over, and it's so vitally important to the new person coming in. You want to download all the information you can. But if there's not a formal process, it's really up to chance and up to the skill set of the person who is transitioning to you. So for example, you can have one person who is on it. They develop a project plan, they loop you into meetings, they spend extra time with you. It's very consultative and dynamic. But then you can have another person who just gives you a client overview and says, here you go, read this. Guess what? You have a meeting tomorrow. That process just doesn't cut it. The prioritized goals for the problem solution are straightforward. The first is to have a standard process to begin with. We want to have that and a timetable that's used every time an account is transitioned. So that way account executives know when they're going to start and we're going to stop and what is all included. The second is to have that incoming account executive feeling great. We want them to be confident so that when they start into working with new people and new challenges, they are feeling good about that relationship. And the third is to have the customer in a good place as well. We want the first impression of the handoff and the new person on it to be solid. The fourth is solving for customer problems. We don't want anything here that's going to slow that down. There will be no impact and no problems dealing with issues that come up on a day-to-day basis. The fifth is making a cultural change. We want to have that where this process actually shifts from being a hum task to actually something that's a great opportunity, a training, something's good, something that will develop you. And the sixth one is to have the internal people, the folks that we work with, our internal customers, never feeling that they're lost, that they didn't know about this change that happened, that they know who to reach out to. That's important to them, and it shows them the respect that they need to do their role. If you think about the potential solutions, they're actually the potential responses to a rhetorical situation. Each potential solution adopts a set of transition activities, some complex, some not so complex. Solution A is a communications it is the process that we see today, where the account executive actually uses the materials they have on hand in a very short 2-hour meeting, and transition happens. This usually occurs within 1 month, which doesn't really give a lot of preparation. Solution B is a bit more of a challenge, where that transition starts over a period of time within 2 months, and it also involves 2 different types of meetings, reviewing that existing accounting documentation, but also involves a challenge to some of the communication skills, which involves developing a strategic or a 3-month post-transition plan. That plan is one of those things where we talk about enabling and supporting sense making. These are the types of things where that is participation and engagement between the 2 account executives. Proposed solution C is more relying on the communication skills of both the incoming and outgoing account executives. They participate in a shadowing process that's collaborative, that brings them together, meaning that they will participate in activities together, talking with the customer, participating in internal meetings, working on problems and problem solving. Right there, that's another communication skill where you see a good leader is someone who engages, who helps, follows up on feedback. that respect is gained by both parties, and one as the leader instructing and the other as the follower. They help together to frame this event, to frame the activities for themselves as part of their culture, but also working with the customer. Solution D goes even farther, where in that process it becomes transformational. This is where we take the skill set that you have, those 8 competencies that we know of and we've talked about, that Johansson wrote about, saying here, these are the things that help set us apart as good leaders in our communication process. We improve on the existing process, and all the other processes are part of this. We add on to them with training, with other documents, with customer feedback, surveying, maybe incorporating other trainings that we have, including ones that are in LinkedIn. And these trainings would actually focus on some of the core competency areas, like what are the 5 C's of communication, how to deal with difficult customers, how to have difficult conversations, how to negotiate. Adding all those things into a package where we start this process at the very, very least of 1 month before and 1 month after that transition target date, so that way we reach our goals. And what, of course, is the best solution, you ask? Well, hold on. The best proposed solution is solution D, and this is the one I'd like to use this structure for my project long-term in this course. And this is to create that long-term solution, something that is transformational in the culture, where we're taking things that are just so-so and bringing them into a real activity, something of value that enhances and builds upon the current skill sets that individuals have. And account executives have them. This is what they do. They communicate, they problem solve. They're called on to be leaders. And all the things that are part of what we're talking about in the course today are involved in putting the solution in place. That multimodality, where we have dimension to communication, that is something that an account executive lives and breathes. But when there isn't a transition process that is solid, pieces do get lost, and we want to make sure that we're using a proposed solution that really fits the bill. I wish you all the luck with your communications problems and your project for this course. Thank you all for watching.